Some supplements don't support gut health. They audition for a role in the next disaster movie, filmed entirely in your abdomen. And I'm saying that as a doctor who's had irritable bowel symptoms in the past and has basically put them into remission with low carb and especially with carnivore. So believe me when I tell you, I'm not anti-supplement. I'm anti-surprise, because nothing is more disrespectful than finally getting your gut calm. Then one healthy scoop later, you're back speed dialing the nearest bathroom like it's your long-lost relative. Now here's the tricky part. The supplement I'm talking about is usually marketed as good for digestion. It's in gut health powders. It's in greens powders. It sneaks into protein bars. It hides in keto snacks. And it shows up in products that promise you a healthy microbiome, while your intestines are quietly drafting a resignation letter. So stay with me, because in just a moment, I'm going to tell you exactly what it is, what to look for on labels, and what to do instead. But first, I want to set the stage with something important. A lot of people confuse two words that sound almost identical, but act very differently in the gut: probiotics and prebiotics. And if you've ever said, probiotics help me, so prebiotics must be even better, congratulations, you have a healthy brain. You also might have an unhealthy colon, because that exact assumption is what got me intrigued enough to make this video. All right, here's the reveal. The common gut health supplement that can wreck a sensitive gut is often a prebiotic fiber, especially ones like inulin, chicory root fiber, and FOS. And if you just said, Doc, I've never taken that, I need you to know something. You might have. You just didn't know you did, because it's not always sold as prebiotic fiber. It's often sprinkled into products as a functional ingredient, like it's doing you a favor, and your gut might disagree. Now let's make this make sense, because this is where the root cause lens matters. Probiotics and prebiotics are not the same. Probiotics are the organisms. Prebiotics are the food for those organisms. Think of it like this. Probiotics are like adding a few new people to the party. Prebiotics are like ordering 10 pizzas, turning on the music, and texting everyone you've ever met. We lit tonight. If you have IBS, that second scenario can go sideways fast. Here's why. Prebiotic fibers like inulin are fermentable. That means your gut bacteria break them down. And when they break them down, they produce gas. In a person with a calm, non-sensitive gut, that might just mean a little extra background noise. But IBS is different. IBS often comes with visceral hypersensitivity. Translation, your gut feels normal stretching and gas like it's a full-blown emergency. So if a prebiotic increases fermentation and gas, and your gut has a hair trigger sensitivity, that's how you end up with bloating, cramps, urgency, or stool changes that seem to come out of nowhere. Or should I say, comes out of somewhere. Now let me answer the question you're really asking. Okay, Doc, so does that mean that probiotics are safe and prebiotics are the problem? Here's the honest answer. Probiotics are often better tolerated than prebiotic fibers, but not always. And that's not because probiotics are good and prebiotics are bad. It's because probiotics don't automatically deliver the same big load of fermentable fuel that turns on the gas factory. That's the key difference. With many probiotics, if you get side effects, it's usually mild temporary bloating or changes as your gut adjusts. Some people notice nothing at all. Some people notice improvements. And some people notice, yeah, my stomach isn't a fan. Because your gut is not a robot. It's a personality. And in my story, before I went low carb, keto, and eventually carnivore, I did get some benefit from probiotics. Not a miracle cure, but enough benefit that I thought, interesting, maybe my gut needs support. So like any motivated human in modern America, I did what we all do. I upgraded. I thought if probiotics help, then prebiotics might be the next level. So I tried a prebiotic product, and I didn't feel well. My gut wasn't just unimpressed, it was offended. So I stopped. And that moment, feeling worse from something marketed as gut healthy, is what made me want to dig into this topic. Because that's the trap. If you assume more gut support is always better, you can accidentally feed the wrong process. Now, I want you to listen closely to this next part, because it might save you weeks of confusion. A lot of products marketed as probiotics are actually combinations. They may include probiotics and prebiotics in the same scoop. That means someone can take a probiotic, feel bloated, and conclude, see, probiotics mess me up. when the real culprit may have been the added prebiotic fiber in the blend. So if you've had a bad experience with a probiotic product, don't just blame the bacteria. Check the ingredient list for the bug food, because sometimes your gut didn't hate the guest. It hated the 10 pieces and fireworks. So where does this stuff hide? Let me give you a gut detective list. If you want to spot it, scan labels for words like inulin, chicory root fiber, FOS, fructooligosaccharides, oligofructose, prebiotic blend, added fiber. And sometimes it's under something that sounds innocent like a plant fiber, which is like saying, don't worry, it's just a pet. Sir, that's a tiger. You'll commonly see these ingredients in gut health powders, greens powders, meal replacement shakes, protein powders, keto bars and fiber snacks, gummies that claim to support digestion, and yes, sometimes even collagen products that are supposed to be gentle, because marketing loves a good halo effect. Now, who is most likely to react? If you've got IBS, especially if your IBS is the bloat first, ask questions later type, you're more likely to notice symptoms. If you suspect SIBO tendencies, like you blow up after certain fibers or gut health products, you're more likely to react. And if you've been carnivore or very low carb for a while, and you suddenly add a big dose of fermentable fiber, that can be a recipe for gut whiplash. Not because carnivore is magic, but because you've removed triggers and reduced fermentation for a lot of people. So when you throw a match back into that environment, your gut notices. Now, let's make this practical. If you suspect a prebiotic is messing you up, here's the trust and verify plan. Stop it for about 2 weeks. Not forever, not dramatically, just long enough to see if symptoms calm down. Then, if you want to be certain, do a simple re-challenge. Try a small amount once. If symptoms come roaring back, you have your answer, because your gut gives feedback. And in medicine, patterns matter. If you're thinking, that sounds too simple, remember, most gut chaos isn't solved by adding more stuff. It's solved by removing the offender. Now, what should you do instead? First, let's say something out loud that the supplement industry doesn't want you to believe. For many people, fixing the diet is enough. Once you remove ultra-processed foods, cut the sugar, stabilize inulin signals, reduce inflammatory triggers, a lot of the gut drama quiets down. That's why low-carb, keto, and carnivore can be game changers for many people. Less fermentable junk, less immune irritation for some, less mystery ingredients, more simplicity. And when the gut calms down, you often don't need to supplement your way into peace. That said, some people may still benefit from probiotics, especially if they found a specific product that consistency helps them. And if probiotics have worked for you, I'm not here to break up your happy relationship. I'm just here to keep you from accidentally adding the roommate who doesn't pay rent and eats all your food. So if you want to try a probiotic, consider these common sense guardrails. Pick one product at a time. Give it a fair trial, several weeks, not 2 days. Watch how your gut responds, and avoid anything plus the kitchen sink formulas that include 5 blends and a prebiotic surprise. Simple wins. And if you truly want a fiber supplement but you're sensitive, start low, like baby low, microdose, because with prebiotics, the dose makes the drama. A tiny amount might be tolerated. A full scoop might turn your gut into a marching band. Also consider that some fiber types are less gassy for many people than inulin-style prebiotics. The goal isn't more fiber. The goal is the right tool for the right person. Quick pause. If this is helpful so far, do me a favor. Hit like, subscribe, and share with that friend who thinks gut health means taking 14 powders before breakfast, because I'd love to keep you out of the unnecessary digestive chaos. Now, I have to add one responsible doctor moment, just a quick one. If you have red flag symptoms like blood in the stool, fever, unexplained weight loss, persistent nighttime symptoms, severe dehydration or anemia, don't just blame supplements. Get evaluated. IBS is common, but not everything is IBS. And you deserve clarity, not guesswork. So here's the bottom line. Probiotics and prebiotics are different. Probiotics are organisms, prebiotics are the fuel. And for a lot of IBS-prone people, the fuel is what lights the fireworks. That's why you may do fine with probiotics and still feel awful with prebiotics like inulin, chicory root fiber, or FOS, especially when they're hidden inside health products. Your gut isn't fragile. It's simply communicating. And your job isn't to silence it with more stuff. Your job is to listen, identify the trigger, and remove the root cause. Now I want to hear from you. Tell me the one supplement that betrayed your stomach. Because if we can crowdsource the gut villains, we can help a lot of people stop suffering in silence. Your gut deserves fewer surprises. And you deserve a life that doesn't revolve around bathrooms. I can't wait to see you in my next video.